When I inherited my grandfather's 47 acres in Colorado, I thought I'd found peace. But 2 years later, I looked out my window and saw something insane. Rows of luxury homes rising on my land. 96 houses, white fences, driveways, families moving in. And not one of them knew they were living on my property. If you've ever dreamed of seeing karma play out in slow motion, grab your coffee, hit that like button, and stick around. Because when I found out who was behind this, I didn't get mad, I got methodical. My name's Daniel. I'm not a lawyer, not a fighter, just a regular guy who inherited his granddad's land after he passed. The 47 acres weren't much. Some trees, a creek, an old barn, and a faded no trespassing sign my granddad nailed up in the 70s. I kept paying the taxes, maintained the fence line, and visited once a month to clear brush. Then one day, I drove out there, and there was pavement. Not a dirt path, not tractors, a road. I followed it, and there they were, identical new homes, lined up like teeth. Signs read, Oak Meadows Estates, luxury living by Stonebrook Development. My stomach dropped. At first, I thought maybe I'd gotten lost. But no, the old barn was still there, just painted white with a community storage sign nailed to it. I stormed into the HOA office on site. Behind the desk sat a man with slick gray hair and an ego to match. Todd Kensington. He was the HOA president, and apparently the face of the new development. When I told him the land was mine, he smirked. "Sir, that's impossible. We bought this property fair and square from the county records. You must be mistaken." He offered me coffee, like I was a guest at his house. I left without arguing, because that night I pulled out my grandfather's old metal lockbox, and inside I found it. A hand-signed deed dated 1964, registered under my grandfather's name, filed, notarized, and never transferred. That's when it clicked. Someone had forged a transfer or used the bad survey map to claim this land was abandoned. Instead of calling a lawyer right away, I played dumb. I started visiting the Oak Meadows office weekly, pretending to be interested in buying a lot. I asked about property lines, deeds, and developers. Every time Todd would brag about how easy it was to get approval from the county. He'd laugh about loopholes, about paperwork no one ever checks. So I checked. I requested every public document tied to the development. Environmental reports, zoning requests, county plats, and buried inside one PDF was gold. A land survey labeled Proposed Site, Parcel 17B, formerly owned by D. Coleman. That was my grandfather. And the person who signed the transfer? Todd Kensington. I spent the next 6 months collecting evidence quietly. Emails from the county clerk, transaction logs, a timeline of construction permits. Todd had bribed an inspector, forged ownership records, and funneled county payments through a shell company. Meanwhile, the homes kept selling, $500,000 each. Families moved in. Kids played on lawns that legally belonged to me. When I finally met with my attorney, he nearly fell out of his chair. "Daniel, they built a subdivision on land they don't own. You're sitting on a gold mine or a lawsuit big enough to sink them." We filed an injunction and froze every remaining sale. No one could legally transfer a title until ownership was settled. Then I waited. 3 months later, court day came. Todd strutted into court like he owned the place. Expensive suit, fake confidence. He told the judge, "Your Honor, this man has no proof of ownership. The deed is ancient. The county approved our sale." My lawyer stood up and placed the original deed on the table. Then, page by page, he laid out the audit trail. Forged signature, fake parcel survey, and emails from Todd's company showing he knew it was fraud. The courtroom went silent. Todd's smirk evaporated. The judge leaned forward and said, Mr. Kensington, not only do you not own this land, you are liable for damages exceeding $22 million. He lost everything: his company, his home, and his reputation. The development was seized, and the homeowners were compensated by his insurance. And me? I got my land back plus enough settlement money to rebuild the old barn and plant trees where the houses once stood. Today, Oak Meadows is gone. Grass grows through cracked pavement. The sign that once said luxury living now hangs sideways. Sometimes I drive out there at sunset, sit by the creek, and listen to the quiet my grandfather loved. And I think about Todd, the man who thought he could bury the past under concrete. He forgot something my grandfather used to say: "You can't steal land that remembers who it belongs to." If that isn't karma, I don't know what is. What would you have done in my place? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if this story gave you chills, hit subscribe for more true justice tales like this one. Because revenge, it's best served with paperwork.